Hi, I'm Maria Theoharous of Velosos on social media. Welcome back to Sew Organised Style Podcast. You're in for a treat today.
Sew Organised Style Podcast acknowledges traditional owners of country throughout Australia. We pay our respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures and to the elders past, present and emerging.
Thanks for joining us again on Sew Organised Style Podcast. Kate Ward of Zen Stitching is a textile artist from Australia who now lives in Canada. She's been on the podcast 5 times now and she's covered a few topics such as declutter, Project 333 experience. She's walked us through her research on textiles production and its impact on the environment. She's also discussed why crafting is good for us, and we had an introduction podcast about Kate and her textile art training. This week, Kate is hosting a free online event called Making Zen Online Retreat. Kate, thanks so much for creating Making Zen Online Retreat. How are you?
You're most welcome, and I'm really great. It's lovely to chat with you again, Maria.
It's been a while, but I know you've been flat out busy getting this retreat organised.
Yes, it's there's been a lot of behind the scenes worrying, getting everything ready, but I'm pretty excited by it all, so I can't wait.
So there've been a few online events. So can you talk us through the format of this online retreat? Because it's not just one day, is it?
No, and that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked, because there's a whole lot of different aspects happening to it. So it starts Monday morning, my time. So that's Atlantic Daylight Time. And that's Canada for those people listening, which I think you've already said. But it starts Monday morning. And what happens is every day from Monday to Friday, we have 3 different presentations that are released in the morning, 7 o'clock. And they're available for everyone to watch. So they're pre-recorded, which is pretty awesome. So it means that if you can't make a particular time or whatever, you can just pop in and watch them. They're available to watch until Sunday, the 24th. If you really enjoy the programs and you would like to keep them for yourselves, plus buy a few little bits of extra bits and pieces, you can get the VIP bundle as well. And then that way you've got them for life, because even though they're all about half an hour each, a lot of them are time-lapsed, which means that you need more time than half an hour for each of the different techniques to really absorb them, I guess you could say, or even just work through them. So we've got the pre-recorded sessions that will be released mornings, every morning. And then we've got some speakers that we'll be chatting with live as well each day. And so they will be coming on depending on the day. Some speakers will be first thing in the morning, my time, which is late Australian time. So we're trying to juggle different time zones. And then we've got some afternoon chats as well between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And they will be recorded as well, which is pretty cool. So if you miss the actual live chat, they will be available back into the course player as well, so that you can watch those at a later date.
When you are looking at a new technique, it actually is worthwhile being able to see it a few times as you're embedding that technique into your own skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where having all the videos available, and you can pause them and you can rewind them and you can fast forward them or whatever you want. It just gives you that little bit of extra ability to work at your pace, because again, they are recorded and online. You're getting these wonderful close-ups of different people's techniques and how they do things in real life. A lot of these things, when we're working with hand sewing and making, it's small. So if you're in a workshop environment, being able to see detail can sometimes be challenging if you're in a group. So that's what makes this pretty awesome too. You can do it and see it, and you don't even have to worry about leaving the comfort of your own home, which for some of us is pretty awesome.
When you're in a group and you're looking at a technique which is really small, you've got to try and jostle your way in a nice way amongst everyone who's there.
Yeah.
And you only see it that one time. At least this way, you don't have to worry about knocking people's shoulders just to have a look at a hand stitching technique.
Exactly. And plus, with COVID and we've all got to wear masks and do our 6 feet spacing, it makes it a bit challenging. So unless you've got like 20/20 vision, this kind of gets around a lot of those kind of problems too, which is pretty cool.
People who have impaired hearing, at least this way, you can hear what's going on, you can see what's going on, make the screen larger. So it has that accessibility side to being able to be there in a sort of, in inverted commas, in a live way.
Yes, absolutely. It is really wonderful because everybody does present it, even though it's pre-recorded, it's a live recording. So you really do feel like you're in the room with all these amazing artists as they're sharing their techniques with you. It's lots of fun. It's really enjoyable.
When it comes to the other parts of the retreat, what do you offer?
So there's all kinds of other ways that you can interact and engage with people. We have a Facebook group, which is super lovely. And that's a wonderful way where you can join a community and share your projects with everyone. So I'm really excited to see how everybody's going to respond to these different demonstrations and what they're going to make. Every day I'm going to be awarding a prize for someone who shares what they're making with us that's been made in response to the workshops. It's just a really lovely way to chat and meet other people, and got people signing in from Latvia and Australia and America and all over the world. So it's a really nice melting pot of cultures too, which I think is really fun.
I've noticed in other online events when there's been a Facebook group, at the time when the event is on, there's a lot of interaction. But then afterwards, there's quite a bit of interaction too, because depending on what it is you're doing, it takes a while to then come up with what you wanted to do. And people still are encouraging, they'll like and they'll comment on what you've done.
Yeah. And that's something that I've really noticed with the Facebook community as well. Like everyone is so encouraging and so welcoming. It's just a delight to be part of, actually. Just you make all these friends online, and it's lovely. Like the amount of people that I've connected with, and I'm sure we all have, from different parts of the world, just because we share the same interest in stitching and making and creating with our hands. It's a really nice way to meet like-minded people.
So Kate, as someone who's attending and also very interested in all the Zen work that you do, the Zen stitching, can you give us an idea of the type of workshops that will be available this week?
The idea did stem from the whole idea of Zen stitching and my personal interest in making and mending and hand sewing. It kind of was an extension from during COVID. I was on a weekly basis connecting with my audience, and we get together and have a chat and we talk about what we like to do. And I thought this would be a really nice way to bring some more interesting people to them and techniques that they might like. So we've got all kinds of things from quilt making, which is super cool, our improv quilts. Zac Foster is going to lead us through this amazing demonstration presentation where it's a bit of a secret, but I'll share it with you anyway, where he gets us to close our eyes and we have to hand stitch with our eyes closed. It's a workshop about building trust with yourself. So you're kind of like understanding that, yes, you can actually sew with your eyes closed. I really like it because he was inspired to create this because he was having conversations with people who were continuing to sew despite their lack of vision or poor vision. Mm-hmm. I just thought that's such a wonderful way to approach things because we rely on our eyes so much. But if you think about it, we're always touching with our hands. And as makers, we're feeling fabrics, we're turning things over, like you can't help but touch things. And our hands are like our second pair of eyes. That's pretty fun. And we've got hand sewing garments, which I think is a really exciting, an exciting idea to take the whole slow stitching. And instead of making a garment with a sewing machine, Sarah Woodyard is showing us how to do beautiful hand-stitched seams so that you can make your own clothes. And I think that's going to be a really exciting presentation as well. And that just lends itself so nicely because we've got Liz Hayward, who is another fellow Aussie,
Yes.
And she's lovely. And she does a whole lot of zero waste pattern making. And so she's going to share with us how she makes her Ura dress, which is like the Viking style dress from one piece of cloth. I think it needs to be 1.5 meters, and you can make a dress that's got sleeves and everything. Pretty cool.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah, she really is. So I'm seriously excited about that. Oh, because this is a Zen stitching retreat, we have Raina McDonald, and she's going to give us a 20-minute presentation on how to do yoga for our hands and our eyes. I don't know about you, but when I get immersed in a project, I forget to stop. So after a while, your eyes get tired because you're focusing up close, and your hands and fingers and all round posture kind of just need a bit of relaxation. So Rain is going to move us through some great exercises for just making sure our hands and our eyes stay limber whilst we're doing all these creative projects.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, what else have we got? We've got just some wonderful hand stitching demonstrations. So I'm going to be demonstrating some sashiko stitches and how that can be applied to visible mending. We've got Heidi Iverson, who's known as Honeyfolk Clothing on Instagram, and she's going to demonstrate how to make a spider web bag. And that's a slow stitching technique where she combines beautiful fabrics with her hand-dyed threads.
Wow.
We have Emma Freeman, who is going to share with us and lead us through a meditation stitched book made all out of cloth, which is just delightful. And we've got Sky Pennant, who is known as Slow Stitch Club on Instagram, and she's going to be giving us a visible mending demonstration using darning. So she's demonstrating a darning technique, which is so awesome. So there's so much to do, and that just barely scratches the surface.
It does.
So much more. What else have we got? We've got some wonderful bookmaking artists as well. So we've got Kaila Givehand, and she's going to lead us through a Zen zine. So you just need one piece of paper. Yeah, which is so cool. One piece of paper, you fold it in one particular way, then you cut it up and you end up with these pages of a little book. And she's guiding us through a process where we're turning them into like an affirmation book. So and I think that's such a really nice tie into creating books and this online retreat. And she's asking us to consider what might be our Zen colors, what might be Zen textures, and how we can apply this. So it's kind of a bit like a mood board for creative making, I guess you could say, which is totally fun. And we've also got Amy Maricle, and she's from Mindful Art Studio, and she's going to be leading us through an accordion book making technique. And she's calling this the exhale book because you can exhale, and so it's all part of the Zen as well. And she's incorporating some stitching into the bookmaking process. So that's super cool. Oh, let's see, what else have we got? And of course, there's you, and you're going to be talking to us about your current obsession, could I say, passion of making bras. And I'm going to let you talk about what you're doing there.
Honestly, after hearing all of the presenters that you've got, my presentation is about applying hand stitching to bras. I lead people through some ready-to-wear examples, and then, as my followers know, I've been madly making up some bras from pieces that I've got. From the topics that you've discussed, Kate, there's the hand dyeing, there's the hand stitching that, you've got some great presenters who are leading us through that and planning to apply it on to bras. I think it actually marries really well when you look at it from a holistic point of view.
Totally.
That's what I'm presenting.
I know. I'm so excited. You've inspired me to make a bras. For me, it's quite a daunting process. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, see, the whole thing was more about encouraging people to plan hand stitching a ready-to-wear bra, and then if they felt motivated, then try and make a bra. But that's secondary. That was like my undercurrent of trying to get people to sew the hand stitching side and doing it in a mindful way is really the focus of what I am trying to do with my presentation. So it fits in with the whole Making Zen online retreat, doing it in a mindful way and not rushing.
Absolutely. And that's the key part of all of this, is enjoying the process, enjoying the stillness that comes from making, enjoying working with the materials. Also, not being too hard on yourself too, not having too many expectations of the outcome, but just enjoying the making process, because there are so many different kind of techniques that are going to be touched upon in this. There might be a lot of new ideas and ways of working for some people. And so just to kind of embrace a beginner's mind, as they say in meditation, and just kind of go with the flow and see where it takes you. So yes, it's all about enjoying yourself and finding some Zen and some creativity. That's what the week's all about.
If we've got some listeners who still haven't or didn't know about the retreat and want to attend, what should they do?
If you want to know more about the Making Zen online retreat, some of the best and easiest ways to get there are, you can either check me out on Instagram. So Making Zen is one of the handles, or Zen Stitching is the other handle. Both of those will take you through the links in the bio to the page where you can sign up and find out all about it. And you can also go to my website, zenstitching.ca, and there'll be a link on the front page there that will take you to learn more about it.
And I'll have those links on the podcast Instagram account and on the podcast blog post as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
We'll have it all covered so people know how to find Making Zen online retreat.
Yes, the more the merrier. I would love everybody to come along, and even if it's just one presentation that they find interesting and engage with, pop in, have a go, sign up to the Facebook group, say hello, and share what you make on social media using the hashtag #MakingZen hashtag, and you might be in the draw to win the VIP bundle, so you get to keep it all forever.
And share your makes on the Making Zen Facebook group.
Yes, please.
Kate, it sounds like you've covered a lot of various techniques that people can use in a mindful way. And look, you've also touched on some aspects that are great for people who are in the chronically sewn community, and also ways for people to use craft in a way that helps with their anxieties, etc., so that they are, using the breathing techniques.
Yes. And I know for some of us that in some parts of the world, we're still in lockdown. So this hopefully is a ray of light for people who might need just a little bit of something different, and a nice way of connecting with other people in that way as well.
Kate, thank you for, again, coming up with the Making Zen online retreat and for being on So Organised Style podcast.
You're welcome, Maria. It's always lovely to be here with you.
It's good to see you again.
You too.
And have a lovely day, listeners.
Bye.
This episode of So Organised Style podcast was produced by me, Maria Theoharous, with permission of Kate Ward, to support Making Zen online retreat. Sound by bensound.com. You can subscribe to So Organised Style podcast, but with an S, not a Z, on all good podcast apps. Make sure you go back and listen to our podcast library of over 260 podcasts available free. Give us a 5-star rating and review, and we hope you'll support us on our Patreon account. Every podcast is free with the aim to keep you company and encourage you to sew more often. Post any questions or suggestions you have on our Instagram account at So Organised Style, or on our website at www.soorganisedstyle.com, or on our Facebook page. We look forward to joining you in your sewing room next time. Stay safe, everyone.